India's 10th unicorn, more than 1700 crores in funding, over 10 crore registered users, and one of the fastest growing mobile apps globally in 2013. Founded by telecom royalty, it was destined to be India's ultimate super app. For a brief moment, it ruled our screens, giving data-starved youth a uniquely homegrown space to connect with colorful stickers and local dialects. Yet, it suffocated under its own bloated ambition and the unstoppable pull of a global rival. Its name, 𝗧𝗵𝗲. Welcome back to The Flop Side, the podcast where we uncover the stories of Indian startups that once soared only to come crashing down. I'm your host Priyanka, and this week we are trading green fields for the ruthless zero-sum game of digital real estate. In the previous episode with Bharat Agri, we examined a company that tried to outrun the crop cycle only to starve during the funding winter. Today's company tried to make its mark in the consumer internet market. We are talking about 𝗧𝗵𝗲, a messaging platform touted to be India's definitive answer to global incumbents like WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. For a time, the narrative was flawless. They hit the unicorn club, launched hundreds of features, and claimed millions of users. But the tech landscape is unforgiving, and a sudden telecom revolution flipped their entire playbook upside down. In today's episode, we're peeling back the layers of 𝗧𝗵𝗲's frantic evolution, from a lightweight chat app to a bloated ecosystem, and finally, a desperate, fatal gamble in the world of real money gaming. This is the story of how an Indian icon fought off global giants only to lose its right to exist.
Act 1. The Spark.
To truly understand the genius of 𝗧𝗵𝗲's product offering, we have to transport ourselves back to 2012. The Indian telecommunications landscape was a completely different universe. If you remember, smartphones were just beginning to penetrate the middle class. 3G, while on the rise, was an expensive luxury, and 2G was the slow, frustrating norm. Also, just the previous year, in 2011, to curb spam, the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India had capped SMS messages to 100 per day, which even after the revised increase to 200 was extremely limited. Meanwhile, WhatsApp was just beginning to gain traction. It was an extremely basic messaging utility that technically charged a $1 annual fee after the first year. This environment created a narrow but real opportunity, and 𝗏𝗵𝗲 𝗙𝗵𝗲, son of Bharti Enterprises chairman Sunil Bharti Mittal, recognized that a well-designed messaging product tailored to India's usage patterns could gain traction before global incumbents fully localized their offerings. The project was incubated by BSB, a joint venture between Bharti Enterprises and Japan's SoftBank. This pedigree provided the startup with access to a powerful telecom ecosystem, strong fundraising credibility, and a network that gave the startup both visibility and legitimacy from inception. This was a critical advantage for scaling in the capital-intensive consumer messaging landscape. Backed by this institutional leverage, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 Messenger officially launched in December 2012. Now, 𝗧𝗵 was exclusively engineered with an acute empathy for the Indian user. Its initial thesis was not simply build an Indian WhatsApp. It was way more ambitious and more differentiated, with a core consideration for local constraints and cultural nuances. For starters, while global apps assumed constant internet connectivity, 𝗧𝗵 was built for the patchy networks across the country. They launched a hybrid feature that allowed you to send a message via the app, and if the recipient didn't have internet, 𝗧𝗵 would automatically convert it into a free SMS. It was a flawless bridge between the old world of texting and the new world of instant messaging. Also, by positioning itself as a youth-centric platform, 𝗧𝗵's most resonant triumph was its visual language. It pioneered the use of regional stickers with packs featuring colloquial slang available in 18 different languages, giving the youth a digital dialect. With that, the app became associated with self-expression and a trendier internet culture. So it wasn't surprising when 𝗧𝗵 crossed 5 million downloads in April 2013, just 4 months since its launch, and raised its first funding of approximately 38 crores from Bharti SoftBank. With that infusion, 𝗧𝗵 had bold plans to multiply its user base and double down on localized product development. So, recognizing the lack of digital privacy in Indian households, 𝗧𝗵 launched their next viral rollout, a passcode-protected secret vault for hidden chats, which solved a critical pain point for its predominantly young user base. Other 𝗧𝗵 features included a file-sharing capability of up to 100 MB and a clever free SMS incentive which rewarded active users with more free SMS credits the more they chatted on the app. This product-led momentum proved irresistible, and by mid-2014, 𝗧𝗵 was becoming all the rage, officially surpassing the 20 million user mark. As 𝗧𝗵𝗵 commented,
India has almost 100 million active mobile internet users, and the number is growing rapidly every year. That's the market which we are building for. The rate at which 𝗧𝗵 Messenger has grown in the last 18 months is phenomenal and is a strong testament of the right direction in which the product is steering. We will continue to focus heavily on introducing new and innovative features to bridge the existing gaps in the instant messaging market in India.
You see, the most important thing Mittal had realized was how fast India was transitioning into a mobile-first economy. For majority in the country, a smartphone was the gateway to a digital world. He noticed that while the potential was staggering, innovation was pretty stagnant. So he built 𝗧𝗵's identity as a trailblazer in that aspect. The vision was to push past the limited scope of a simple communication channel and build a platform that was holistically ingrained in everyday life.
Act 2. The Illusion.
True to his vision, 𝗧𝗵𝗵 quickly proved that 𝗧𝗵 was never destined to be just another chat utility. Through a rapid blitz of strategic acquisitions and localized feature rollouts, the platform began a massive metamorphosis, integrating everything from live cricket scores to 𝗧𝗵 Direct, a revolutionary offline file-sharing network. It was no longer just about sending texts. It was evolving into a comprehensive digital ecosystem, aiming to be the ultimate all-in-one internet gateway for millions of Indians. The market responded in kind. By January 2016, Hike crossed a staggering milestone: 100 million users exchanging an average of 40 billion messages every single month. The venture capital world answered to this momentum with a tidal wave of cash. In August of that same year, Hike closed a massive 𝗧𝗵𝗲 𝗙𝗹𝗻𝗲 funding round led by industry giants Foxconn and Tencent. This war chest catapulted their valuation past the billion-dollar mark, crowning Hike as the 10th and at that time the youngest member of India's elite unicorn club. But the influx of capital from Tencent provided something far more valuable than just runway. It provided validation. Tencent, after all, was the architect of WeChat, the Chinese behemoth that pioneered the super app model. As Tencent President Martin Lau stated at the time,
Hike deeply understands India, a highly diverse market with many nuances. It is on a mission synergistic to ours, which is to enhance the quality of human life through internet services. With our investment, Hike will be able to leverage our deep domain expertise in the messaging platform space to provide more value to its users in India.
So, in China, WeChat wasn't just a messenger. It was the entire internet. You could use it to read the news, order food, hail a cab, and even pay your taxes. 𝗧𝗵𝗲 looked at WeChat and saw he was already trying to build that very same blueprint. But now, with Tencent's backing and deep playbook, Hike had all the support it needed to dramatically shift its strategy from ambitious expansion to absolute maximalism. The endgame was total retention. Hike was going to bolt an entire ecosystem onto their messaging framework, aiming to be so deeply ingrained in the daily habits of its users that relying on any other app became unnecessary. They had the money, they had the blueprint, and they had the momentum. But then just 1 month after reaching that billion-dollar mountaintop, the ground beneath them completely gave way.
Act 3. The Crack.
September 2016 witnessed a tectonic shift in the Indian digital economy. Reliance Jio had flooded the market with dirt-cheap, high-speed 4G technology. Overnight, expensive data and patchy 2G networks, the fundamental constraints that Hike had so brilliantly solved, ceased to exist. People didn't need Hike Offline to save on SMS costs anymore. Nor did they need Hike Direct to bypass data usage. Jio had democratized internet access, and in a flash, it had neutralized Hike's biggest competitive advantages. Suddenly, global giants like WhatsApp could function perfectly in India without needing to localize. Hike needed to give their users a new reason to stay, so they didn't hold back on their super app strategy. They rapidly wove in features like Hike Wallet for UPI payments, daily news feeds, gamified step trackers, and even cab booking integrations. On paper, the strategy seemed like a logical defense, but in practice, it created massive software bloat. As these features piled up, the size of the Hike app ballooned, eventually pushing past the 75 MB mark. In the market, which was still dominated by budget Android smartphones with a mere 8 to 16 gigabytes of internal storage, space was a premium commodity. By trying to be everything to everyone, Hike had become a bulky storage hog. The very ecosystem designed to trap users inside the app was suddenly giving them the perfect reason to delete it. And just like that, the silence inside the Hike ecosystem was getting louder. To make matters worse, the network effect was starting to consolidate around WhatsApp. Because messaging, after all, is a fundamental utility, and utilities demand universality. You don't choose a messaging app based on how colorful the UI is. You choose it based on where your family, your friends, and even your boss are located. WhatsApp had become the default infrastructure for Indian communication, and Hike's internal data was flashing red. They were burning crores maintaining a colossal infrastructure for a ghost town. So in a desperate bid to course correct, the company initiated a massive unbundling. They stripped away the flashy extras. They even tried to rebrand. But it was simply too late. Even their latest innovation, Hikeland, a virtual world where you can interact with friends, wasn't able to pull in enough daily users. With its endless product launches and feature rollouts, the app had lost track of its identity, and there was no space in the user's mind for that much clutter. So in Jan 2021, 𝗏𝗏 announced that Hike Messenger was officially shutting down. However, the story doesn't end here. 𝗏𝗏 refused to let the unicorn quietly fade away. Instead, he engineered a radical pivot from social utility to entertainment with two entirely new niche ventures. Vibe, a token-gated social community which was based off of Hikeland, and Rush, a mobile-first gaming platform centered entirely around real money wagers on games like Ludo and Carrom. For a time, this desperate gamble appeared to work. Rush rapidly scaled to tens of millions of users, generated massive revenue, and even rode the global Web3 wave to turn the platform into a crypto-backed play-to-earn ecosystem. Hike also attempted an ambitious global expansion, pushing its gaming business into the United States. However, it seemed like time had finally run out for this lifeline too, because in 2025, the Indian government dropped the hammer, instituting a sudden, sweeping regulatory ban on real money gaming. Just like that, Hike's core domestic operations were completely outlawed, and their global expansion could not save them. As 𝗏𝗏 shared in a personal blog,
after regrouping with our investors and the team, I've made the difficult decision to wind down Hike completely. Our US business launched just 9 months ago is off to a strong start. But after the India ban, scaling globally would require a full recap, a reset that is not the best use of capital or time.
So after 13 turbulent years of survival, this homegrown unicorn had quietly surrendered in the battlefield.
Act 4. The Fade.
When the servers finally powered down, Hike's fall from grace left behind more than just lines of code. It left behind one of the most expensive cautionary tales in the history of the Indian consumer internet market. From day one, 𝗏𝗏 knew a simple messaging app would be the gateway to the internet for millions of Indians. But as we just saw, along with the platform, his ambition also grew. He no longer had just wanted a chat app. He wanted an Indian super app. But in the relentless pursuit to build the ultimate digital empire, 𝗏𝗏 lost sight of its foundation. As we sift through the wreckage of Hike's ruins, let's break down the misfires that sealed its fate. The first one being the trap of software bloat and the total loss of their core competency. Every great product design begins with a single clarifying question. What are we actually solving for? At its genesis, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 had a brilliant answer. They were solving for the terrible data situation in India. But then came the geo-revolution. Overnight, data was practically free, so 𝗧𝗵𝗲's foundational problem simply vanished. This was the critical moment to adapt their strategy alongside the market. Instead, the company responded with a panicked flood of features. As the venture capital rolled in and the super app ambition took over, they completely diluted their core utility. 𝗧𝗵𝗲 ended up presenting so many different solutions that the user completely lost sight of the question itself. By the time leadership realized their mistake and desperately tried to unbundle the app, the damage was irreversible. They learned the hard way that agility isn't just about moving fast. It's about realizing your mistakes before the market moves on without you. Investors had also believed that because WeChat conquered China by bundling every service into one app, someone could replicate the playbook here in India. But the fallacy of that blueprint was glaring. WeChat was born behind the strong government firewall of a closed ecosystem. India is a hyper-competitive open market where consumers can freely download the specialized app that suits them best. 𝗧𝗵𝗲 concluded a very expensive hypothesis. For the Indian market, bundling wasn't a superpower, it was a liability. Another major takeaway is a brutal lesson in the silent, deadly network effect and the illusion of growth. In the hierarchy of digital needs, communication is the absolute baseline. People open a messenger app to transmit information as quickly and reliably as possible. Stickers, avatars, and hidden chats are incredible acquisition tools, but they are utterly useless if the basic need is not being met. This exposes the danger of vanity metrics. For years, 𝗧𝗵𝗲's internal dashboards celebrated hundreds of millions of downloads and registered accounts. But growth is absolutely nothing without retention. Real success isn't measured by who downloads your app. It is measured by the daily active users who actually return to it. 𝗧𝗵𝗲 treated messaging like a feature war, while WhatsApp quietly improved the invisible mechanics of communication itself, pulling away those returning users with its reliable simplicity. Over time, as WhatsApp achieved global scale, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 learned that in a winner-take-all market, second place is just another word for obsolete. But 𝗧𝗵𝗲's legacy isn't a complete tragedy. They proved that Indian developers could build a world-class, beautifully designed consumer software. They proved that there is a massive appetite for localized, culturally resonant digital products. But they also proved that venture capital cannot buy a network effect, and $1 billion valuation is entirely meaningless if it isn't anchored to a daily, indispensable usage. So, in an age where we are all drowning in notifications and endless features, how do you make sure an app will actually add value to your life rather than just waste precious space? And that is the bandwidth for this week. No hidden chats, just the plain truth. If you found value in this breakdown, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss our next autopsy on the flop side. Before we close out the server, I want to leave you with one final thought. That little beep the iconic Nokia handsets made every time a text got delivered was not just a random note. It was Morse code for the word SMS. Millions of people would have heard it every day for years without having a clue. Now, if you have a comment on the ongoing social media wars, or a defunct app you want us to put under the microscope, drop us a line on Instagram at 𝗧𝗵𝗲 podcast. I'm your host Priyanka, and I'm here with my co-creator Nandita. And we want to thank you for hanging out with us this week on the flop side, where we show you the flip side of flop startups.